SBUs. Now, yes, go ahead.
What's an SBU?
Strategic Business Unit. SBU is Strategic Business Unit. Now let's talk about the market product strategies. 4 generic market product strategies. Okay, so we talked about an overview of marketing, the marketing mix, which we said is those controllable factors, the 4 Ps. Marketing segments, we talked about the target market, different levels of plans, the mission, the vision, the values, marketing metrics, the BCG model. Now we're talking about the market product strategies. What are they? Ready? Write this down. Here we go. Market product strategies. These are 4 what we call generic market product strategies. The first one is market penetration. So market penetration is a market product strategy. The second one is market development. The third one is product development. So we have market penetration, market development, product development, and the fourth one is diversification. So we have market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. Those are 4 market product strategies. So let's look at market penetration. What is market penetration? Market penetration means we're selling more of our existing product in our existing markets. So market penetration, so this could be a strategy for every company. Basically, we need to support this with tactics that are going to allow us to achieve this market penetration strategy. But our market penetration strategy might be to increase the sale of ice cream in our existing markets. So our existing products. So increase the sales of our existing products in our existing markets. How are we going to increase the sales of our existing products in our existing markets? How are we going to sell more ice cream, for example? Anybody like ice cream? You like ice cream? What flavor? What's your favorite flavor? How many people like chocolate as their favorite flavor? Raise your hand if you like chocolate. That's your favorite flavor. All right, raise your hand if vanilla is your favorite flavor. Raise your hand if strawberry is your favorite flavor. Raise your hand. Oh, wow, that's a significant drop-off. From chocolate to vanilla to strawberry. So we need to think about which flavors we're going to offer as part of our product line. Are we going to offer 1 flavor or 2 flavors, 3 flavors, 10 flavors? So market penetration is increasing the sale of our existing products in our existing market. So for our ice cream company, our goal could be to sell more ice cream, or in this case, let's say our super premium ice cream to Americans, like Haagen-Dazs, for example, or Ben & Jerry's. Anybody like chocolate chip ice cream? Mmm, delish, right? Vanilla Swiss almond? Or how about Ben & Jerry's Chunky Monkey? Yeah, or New York Super Fudge? Those are considered to be super premium. So in terms of our pricing strategy, a company can have a good, better, best, premium, super premium pricing strategy. So we could segment the market. When we segment the market, what we do is we divide the market into segments. We could do that geographically, demographically, based on the usage rate, based on psychographics. Price is a way we could segment the market, divide the market into submarkets. So not everybody wants to buy a product, a premium product, Some are okay to buy a product that we could classify as good. And then another category, better, best, premium, super premium. So think about Toyota, for example. They have Scion, which is made by Toyota. Toyota, Lexus. So isn't that a good, better, best pricing strategy? Well, how do you make that real? Is those products each have a different master brand. Each of those products is wrapped in a different brand. Because it's not enough to just say, well, we have products at 3 different price points. Because when we position our products in the market, there has to be a crystal clear positioning. You can't be all things to all people. So you can't have the same brand, let's say, for example, in dishwashing soap. Dawn is considered to be at the better end of the category. And then we have what else? Palmolive is a direct competitor of theirs. And what about
Ajax?
Ajax is another competitor. So if you look at that category, there's good, better, best, but importantly, there's different master brands for each. So the company markets themselves using different master brands. Market development is to increase the sales of your existing products in new markets. So selling more ice cream, not electronics, now we're an ice cream company, selling more ice cream to new markets. Or if you want, we could go back to the electronics example, selling more electronics, not to existing customers, well, yes, to existing customers, but in different markets. So new markets, current products. So market penetration is to increase the sales of existing products to existing markets, and market development is to sell existing products. So the same ice cream, we haven't talked about customizing the product yet, sell the same ice cream in new markets. So that would suggest that we will reach new customers as well. But market penetration is selling the existing products to the existing customers. And we said we're going to do that by modifying the marketing mix. We might change the price. We are going to advertise. We're going to offer promotions. So how do we sell more of a product? Well, Chanel told us a while ago that we could advertise. Yeah, we could advertise. We could have print campaigns and radio spots and TV commercials, billboards. One of our questionnaires is going to be about outdoor advertising and billboards. Another one is going to be about TV commercials. Product development. What is product development? Is to develop new products to sell to the current market. So now that we sell to that market, we want to sell a new product. So for example, for the ice cream company, maybe now we're going to sell a Haagen-Dazs brand of chapstick or clothing or soda. Now, we have to consider the brand elasticity. Another thing that we study in research is brand elasticity. How far can we stretch our brand? Now, the awareness of Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry can be very high, the brand awareness, but that doesn't mean that it can stretch into the clothing category or into the vitamin category or into the electronics category. How many of you would buy a Haagen-Dazs smartphone? So you can't be all things to all people. Now, categories expand. They have brand extensions, but they extend into categories that are closely related to the products that they already sell.
But chapstick's a good idea though. Like if your chapstick tasted like ice cream.
Anything that tastes like ice cream, you got me. Yep, you got me sold. Diversification is the other market product strategy. So selling a new product in a new market. So product development, we said, is selling a new product to our current markets. Diversification is selling a new product in a new market. So instead of we're not talking about selling ice cream to Americans anymore. We're talking about selling clothing to customers in Brazil, for example. That's diversification. So we have market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. So who can tell us the difference? Market penetration is increasing the sales of existing products in existing categories. That means selling more ice cream to Americans. Market development is selling more ice cream, but selling it to customers in Brazil. So that's market development. So you see they're different, these strategies. Market penetration, sell more ice cream in our existing market, which is America. So sell more ice cream, the product we already sell, to our existing customers. Americans, sell more ice cream to Americans. Current product, current market. Market development, another strategy, is to sell more ice cream, to sell our existing product, but in new markets. So not in America, but we're trying to go more global. We want to sell ice cream in Brazil. Or we might even say, now we want to sell in all of Europe. So before we might have only been selling in the US. Now, with market development, we might want to sell in all of North America, which includes the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Or we might say that as part of our market development, we want to sell our existing product, our ice cream, in not just the United States and not just North America, but now North America and South America, and also Asia. So same product, but now we're going global. Market development. Existing product in new markets. Ayala?
So market penetration, just like selling it to more supermarkets, basically?
Selling into more supermarkets, and also increasing demand for the product with the consumer. How would you get consumers to buy more?
Yeah, it's the same product.
Well, you don't think that a coupon would work? What about that? So if we give a coupon for $1 off Haagen-Dazs, will consumers buy more?
Yeah.
Yeah, a certain percentage of them will, definitely. We'll get consumers to buy more of our Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Absolutely. Go ahead.
I used to work in a supermarket, and you know those Pepperidge Farm cookies?
Yum.
The bag says it's I think it retails for $3.29, and they sell it for that price. How do they make a profit off of that? Like, if it says $3.29, is that what they're supposed to sell it at, or are they making a profit out of that?
Yeah, that's the suggested retail price, the MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price. MSRP is $3.29 for that product. But they have promotions, and they sell the product sometimes 2 for $5. This is something I definitely know a lot about. 2 for $5, you could get Pepperidge Farm cookies, right? So Teresa's saying, well, wait a minute, how do they make money? I mean, especially in the grocery channel, they don't make the kind of margins that are made in other categories, like clothing, for example. It's very common for retailers to make 100% markup and 200% markup. So if they buy the jeans for $50, they sell them for $100, $150, or $200. In grocery, most of the products they sell, they're making like 10%, 12%. But they sell a lot of those products. They sell a lot of units, but the percentage markup is low. So when they have, so you're thinking, well, how could they lower the price from $3.29 to $2.50? It's, yeah, right, it's only, what, 79 cents? But they weren't making, were they really making 25 points on cookies? I seriously doubt it. So the question is, Teresa says, well, how do they do that? Well, the manufacturer funds that. So that means that instead of them buying it from the manufacturer, now at $2.87, now the manufacturer sells it to them for a limited time at, let's say, $2.25. So now they could sell it at $2.50 and still make money. But that sometimes a promotion is balanced a little bit differently. Sometimes they might actually have to buy the cookies for $2.40, because realize that that's going to generate a lot of foot traffic. Anytime you have that type of promotion, Pepperidge Farms cookies, like you say, everybody knows it sells for $3.29, is now 2 for $5 or $2.50 each. That's going to bring a lot of people into the store. The reason why we would even consider doing that, even without the support of the manufacturer, is because they're going to buy orange juice for $4.49 for half a gallon. That's not on sale. All right, so product development, we're going to sell a new product to our current market. So now, in the United States, in addition to selling ice cream, we're also going to sell Haagen-Dazs t-shirts. So you probably think, yeah, Coach, I do think there's an issue with brand elasticity there. I don't think that that's going to go over well. Or Haagen-Dazs baby food. Probably not, right? But that would be an example of product development, where we're going to sell a new product in our current market in the United States. Not in Canada, not in Mexico, not in all of North America and South America and Europe. No, just in the United States, our current market, but we're going to sell a new product. And diversification, we said, is to sell a new product in a new market. So now we're going to try to sell those t-shirts and those cameras and that baby food in Canada, Mexico, South America, and Europe. So those are 4 generic strategies that we talk about in Chapter 2. So let's keep moving. We still got 3 more hours, but let's keep moving. So SWOT. So SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So SWOT analysis, when we want to do a situation analysis, one of the things that we can do is what's called a SWOT analysis. We look at internal strengths and weaknesses, and we look at external opportunities and threats. So in terms of a strength, what would be a strength for, let's say, Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry? What would be one of their strengths? Go ahead, Teresa.
Variety of flavors.
A large variety of flavors. What else?
Better quality.
Quality. So one of their strengths is their diversity of flavors. Kasha? Kaj. I'll get it. Kaj. Kasha without the A. Kaj says that they have a high quality. That's one of their strengths. Go ahead.
Reasonably priced.
The price can be a strength. Yes, go ahead.
They're a mature brand.
They're a mature brand, which suggests what?
Consumer loyalty.
They may have consumer loyalty. Yes, it's a mature brand. Absolutely. They have consumer loyalty. Yes.
Their marketing tactics.
Their marketing tactics is one of their strengths. Yes, go ahead. Fifi?
Their logo and packaging.
Yeah, their logo. What about their logo? Why do you consider that a strength?
Like the way, like maybe it's the name that like persuades people to buy it. Like it looks like has like I don't know how to say it, but like their image and like the way how they portray their
Yeah, absolutely. So they have a favorable brand image. And how do we communicate the brand? Well, a company has a logo. The logo is what's called a word mark. The logo is a graphic representation of the brand name. So the logo is a graphic representation of the brand name. So Haagen-Dazs, those stylized fonts that they use, that's their logo. What Fifi is saying is that that's something that's recognizable. It has a high level of brand awareness and a favorable brand attitude. People think favorably about that brand. They have positive imagery about that brand. What do you think is one of their weaknesses?
Price.
The price. So they are a premium product. So 1 pint is $5. For the Pathmark brand, you could buy 2 half-gallons for that price, right? What else? What would you consider to be another weakness for them?
Competition.
The competition. So there are competitors even in the premium category. So we could talk about whether or not the Pathmark ice cream or the Breyers ice cream are direct or indirect competitors, right? We could talk about that. We'll talk about that another time. But the competition, there's definitely competition for them even in the premium category. Haagen-Dazs, Ben & Jerry, those are premium brands, and those are competitors. What else? Yes, go ahead. What's your name?
Christoph.
Christoph, go ahead.
Culture.
The culture? Tell us more about that.
People dieting and trying to lose weight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it tastes delicious, but it's very high in calories and fat. So as much as we think that we're going to sell a lot of ice cream, there's a lot of people that are trying to lose weight, that are dieting, that are going to the gym every day. So Christoph makes a good point. That's a weakness for the company.
But isn't that how Ben and Jerry's, they combat that by making their Greek yogurt ice cream and they have low fat one, sugar free? And then don't they I'm pretty sure they do better than Haagen-Dazs.
So Teresa's saying is that they recognize that those segments exist, that there's different segments in the market for ice cream, those who are health conscious and those who are presumably not health conscious. So Teresa says they're addressing that, so they have alternatives. They have alternatives that give people the same type of ice cream experience, but as a yogurt or as a low-fat or low-calorie version of the product. What about opportunities? Do you feel they have any opportunities as a company?
Yes.
What? What would be some of their opportunities?
Developing like new product.
Right? Developing new products? Absolutely. So developing new flavors is an opportunity for them?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Now with different kinds of social media, they're able to like get their name out at like with a multitude of different kinds of services like Twitter or YouTube or Instagram. They can just go on that and try to branch out from there.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Good point. Go ahead.
Making certain products available for a limited time only.
Limited time products. Yep, that's going to create interest and excitement about their products.
Like you were saying before, expanding their, like, selling, like, bringing a brand to, like, China or Europe, even though they honestly probably are there now, but that's a big opportunity for them to expand their name.
Well, absolutely. There's the U.S. only represents about 5% of the world population. So, although the market is strategic for most companies, there's a whole world that is yet to experience Haagen-Dazs ice cream, right? Or Ben & Jerry's. What would you consider to be some of their threats? What would be a threat, an external threat to the company?
Competitors from overseas.
Yeah, absolutely. So while we're here thinking, well, we want to sell our product in Europe, and the Middle East. Presumably there's companies there that already sell ice cream, right? Yeah, tell us your name.
Marisa,
Marisa!
and just like I think the weather change, different seasons in the winter, like
Absolutely, so you have to consider the weather.
Not just like any competitors, but competitors like Haagen-Dazs against Ben and Jerry's, those people that are basically kind of like the same company, they're just as popular as each other, so.
Definitely, so direct competitors, not just indirect competitors, but absolutely direct competitors. Go ahead.
Haagen-Dazs has like an actual store where you can go into. Ben and Jerry's, I don't know if they do, but not many of them. There's many of Haagen-Dazs around here, so having more in the storefront would be
Absolutely, so accessibility. So not just selling in grocery stores, for example, but having their own company stores. Yes, go ahead, Teresa? No, that's not Teresa? No, Chanel, Chanel. All right, let me put back on my glasses. I'm good now, okay. Ah, Chanel. Not to be confused as Teresa.
Another threat is having multiple stores that also do is like Koso or those other stores that I take away from Ben and Jerry's because now they have a thing of them.
Right, definitely. Go ahead. Yeah, that's a good point, Chanel, definitely. Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Employer like retention, so employees might not like to work in the company, so they might go to the competitors, work for the competitors.
Definitely, that's a threat. You know, you have your Haagen-Dazs employees going to Ben and Jerry's. Yes, go ahead. Tell us your name.
Victoria.
Victoria, go ahead.
Unsatisfied customers.
Unsatisfied customers, so absolutely, that's a problem, something that we need to manage and try and minimize buyer's remorse, also known as post-cognitive dissonance. For now, we'll just call that buyer's remorse. Is that okay? Yes, okay.
What about government regulations, like the government bans some ingredients?
Absolutely. So regulation. So we talked about the controllable factors. We didn't talk about the uncontrollable factors. Some of them would be, for example, political and regulatory, social factors. Those are things that are beyond our control. We said the marketing mix are those controllable factors. We can control what product we sell, the price we sell it at, where we want to sell it, our promotions, our advertising, but tell us your name. Kaim is saying that there's also some uncontrollable factors, things that the marketing managers, the marketing executives have no control over, like government regulation, political instability, social unrest, culture, technology, accessibility. Those are some uncontrollable factors. Anything else? Go ahead, tell us your name.
Christoph.
Christoph, again? Okay, I'm going to remember.
Manufacturing errors and recalls.
Yes, absolutely. Recalls, that's a problem, potential threat.
Lactose intolerant customers.
Lack of?
No, the lactose intolerant customers.
Oh, lactose, yes, lactose intolerant, absolutely. Boy, you guys know a lot about ice cream. You're my kind of students. Wow. All right, good job. You guys are amazing. Give yourself a round of applause. Best students ever. Woo! You guys rock. No joke. All right, so when we started, I told you this is what we were going to talk about, right? And we talked about that, right? So we still got 20 more minutes.
This is a first day.
We talked about this. Let's see if this is going to work. We're here till midnight. I thought you guys said we're here till midnight. No? We're not? Oh no, we're not leaving yet. The party just began. All right. We're almost done. All right, so I told you what we were going to talk about. I told you. Now I'm going to tell you what I told you real quick. What did we say? Marketing. Marketing is about creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging value. Does that sound familiar? Yes, good. The marketing mix. Product, price, place, and promotion. That's the marketing mix. The 4 Ps. All right. The 4 Ps. These are the controllable factors, and they're integrated. We integrate the product, the place, the promotion, and the price. That's what that is that we see here. You see how that box is? All of those 4 Ps, they got to work together. These are some examples. We said that the product is what? Wrapped in the brand. Didn't we talk about that? And these are different pricing elements. Promotions. Remember we said advertising, even though it doesn't start with a P, right? And promotions, sales promotions, public relations. That's what the part of the first questionnaire is about, is ethics. And what is it about ethics that we're concerned about? Is the public relations component. So we're looking at ethics as it relates to apologies, for example. Like, what is the obligation of the company when they make a mistake? Do they need to fix the mistake? Do they need to tell the public that they made a mistake? So those are all public relations issues. And then the place. We talked about different channels of distribution. Grocery stores, drug stores, convenience stores. An example of a convenience store is what? 7-Eleven. And wholesale clubs. Okay. Now, we talked about the 3 different levels of strategy. The business unit is between the corporate and the functional. So the functional level strategies, what we talked about today was the marketing plan. So there's a sample marketing plan at the end of chapter 2. I also have under course documents and lectures samples of marketing plans. There's 3 sample marketing plans there. One of them is about Paradise Kitchen. All right, so take a look at that. Do you remember this? We said the mission statement. What is the mission statement for Star Trek? To explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, as to boldly go where no one has gone before. That's an example of a mission. Our example of a mission was a little bit different. Who could tell us the mission, one of the mission statements that we talked about? Who could tell us? Who wrote it down? Go ahead, tell us your name. Ayala? Daniela, go ahead.
Selling high quality educational tools to grades K-12.
In North America. So, does that sound familiar to anybody? We said that was one of our mission statements. Marketing metrics. Party people. Does this look familiar? Profit, sales. We don't need to go over this one, right? Again. No? I think we went over that one 3 times. Those are the marketing metrics. Some of the key marketing metrics. And look at this. The BCG matrix. What does BCG stand for? Boston Consulting Group. That's right. And that's the dog. This is the cash cow. The dog, not to be confused with the dinosaur over here. The question marks. And you see here the BCG matrix. The market growth rate on this axis, market share on this axis. So quickly, the stars have a high market growth rate and a high market share. So the market share for the stars is high, and they're in a category that's growing. So the growth rate is high. The cash cows, the market share is high. The market share is high for cash cows, but the growth rate is low. So we said, like, for example, in the beverage category, it's a large category, but it's not growing. 2 to 3% is not what we consider to be market growth. That's a mature category. 2 to 3% is a mature market. When we're talking about market growth, we're thinking of 20, 30% growth per year, 40% growth per year. That's what we mean by growth, a significant amount of growth when we say high growth. market product strategies, market penetration, market development, product development, and diversification. And here's an example, the Ben & Jerry's example, okay? So we talked about this. Questions about that? No? You sure? We got 3 more hours. Don't worry, we're good. SWOT analysis. We talked about SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And here's an example for our ice cream business. What do we have here is some of the strengths. Well-known brand name. It complements the other ice cream brands. Ben & Jerry's is owned by Unilever. They sell other brands of ice cream as well. And another strength is that they are recognized as being a company that is socially responsible, that does have values that are relevant to the consumers and values that are real, not just on their website, but values that they take seriously and is obvious based on their actions, like the amount of money they give to charity, for example. In terms of weaknesses, interestingly, right, their level of social responsibility has an impact on their profit. That you could argue that they're less profitable because of the money that they give to charity. But then again, you could also make an argument that, well, if they weren't giving that money to charity, maybe their sales wouldn't be as high. So do you think that people buy Ben & Jerry's because they know that they're a socially responsible company, that they do give money to charity, that they believe in fair labor practices? I think most of you said yes. All right, I'm going to make that available to you on Blackboard. So, this is what we said we were going to talk about. That's what I talked about. And then, now I told you what it is that we talked about, right? So, 3 times. All right. So, let's see, what else? Is it midnight yet? It is midnight? Oh, then we gotta get ready to go. Hold on. All right, so everybody's going to get the book, right? Everybody has the book? You do? Wow, that's good. So you need to express the book. That book you can be able to get for $15. But you definitely need to get the book. Because some of the homework assignments, you definitely need to have the book. Specifically, based on what it says in the book, is what you need to write on Blackboard. It's not a research assignment. So we have some research assignments. The questions as it relates to the cases in the book, like we have a case that we're going to cover about Amazon, Mall of America, British Petroleum, Prince Sports, all these different cases. That's not a research assignment. The answers are, for the most part, in the book. You have to do some critical thinking and some analysis and evaluate the information you have, but you're not going to, don't look for the information somewhere else other than the textbook. So you really need to have the textbook. You're saving $200. So really I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't get the textbook. If it was $250, like some textbooks are, right, that some professors have you buy, I could understand. But this one, I'm deliberately using the back edition so you can get it very cheap so that you can be successful. Because your success is my #1 priority. But sometimes students don't listen to coach. What can I do? All right. So, log into Blackboard and post your introductions. for tomorrow. Make sure you complete the survey about ethics and public relations, okay? All right, let's see. Catherine.
Yes.
Which one?
Catherine Akan.
Me.
That's you? Akan?
I can't.
Akan. And let's see. Albin is here. Michelle Aragonova. Okay. Let's see. Lino is here. Nazmul Alam. Okay. Solomon. Benny. Nita. Asif. Okay. Loredana. Ayode. Kalsum. Okay. Hussein. Bayrama. Danielle Burton. Where? Okay, Danielle. Shannon Brown. Shannon? Shannon! Next week she's going to say, I was there! Shannon! No? Jurgen! Okay. Denise Camacho! Okay. Wepa! Let's see. Pei Ying! Alisa! Sherlan! Let's see. Jing Yang Chen! Uh-oh, 2 people raise their hand. Which one? Ling Yan! Yan Wen! Let's see. Caroline! Rick! Miss Clark! Victoria!
Here.
Yes, Victoria. Veronica!
Here.
Aaron!
Here.
Alrighty. James D'Alessandro! He came and then he left. Alexis!
Here.
Let's see, is that the same Alexis? Wait, we got 2 Alexis. Which one? No, there's another one. Yes, this one, yes. Dagla. Yes, that one. Kristen Dawkins. Kristen! Holla. Let's see. Cindy DeSantis. All right. Diallo. Lisbeth Diaz. Yes. Diaz, right? Brandon. Okay. Bianca. Okay. Let's see. And Teresa. Paul. Chanel. Jonathan Fernandez. Lisette Fortis. Ella. Tired, huh? Rashad. Rashad Glynn. Ivan Gonzalez. Sanjem. Sanjem?